Welcome, Learning Lab mentors, to the training session Pacing. The strategies and tips that we will cover today are courtesy of your blended learning specialist team and wonderful facilitators just like you. In this brief 5-minute training, we will address how to help your students stay on pace. I will present more than one way to pace your students. You will want to pick and choose those strategies that will fit your style and your students best. Let's get started. Every Florida Virtual School course has a general pace chart that, if followed, will allow the student to finish their semester in 16 to 18 weeks. Pace charts offer a game plan for students to use throughout their semester. General pace charts for each course can be found under Course Information. The pace chart is divided into weekly assignments. Encourage your students to print up a pace chart and date each week from the beginning of their school semester. They can also request a pace chart from their individual teacher. If you have several or more students in one course, then reach out to your instructor and ask for a personalized pace plan based on your school calendar. Our instructors can easily develop the perfect pace and email it to you as a PDF file. That brings us to our next set of strategies. What will you and the student do with the pace chart once you have it? Very good question. Here are some best practices that really do work. Post the pace chart on a wall or bulletin board for students to quickly reference. Or print a pace chart out for each student and have them put it in a notebook or folder as a checkoff list. You could require the notebook stay in your classroom, or you could allow students to keep it. Some students may need more than just a list of assignments for the entire semester to keep them engaged. If you only have a few courses in your lab, then a good practice is to write the weekly assignments on a blackboard or whiteboard. On Monday, let students know that these assignments are due by the end of the week. If you have multiple courses, then you may want to have a copy of the pace chart for each course in your facilitator notebook. With this handy tool, you can help coach those students who may be behind or struggling to stay on pace. Please note, in most cases, unless the FLVS instructor tells you otherwise, it is okay for students to work ahead on their pace chart. However, it is not recommended for students to skip assignments unless the instructor has given them the go-ahead. Examples of this might be when a student is working around a project, or maybe they have a scheduled discussion with a teacher later in the week but would like to continue working. Here's a super idea. Post on the board or wall the expected percentage complete to be on pace for that week. Many of our best facilitators use this strategy to keep students on track. Even though it may not exactly follow their individual pace plan for their course, it will definitely keep them moving in the right direction. Here is a general schedule showing weekly percentage complete for students on a 16-week semester. Let's do a quick review. Today we covered strategies for pacing. Make sure every student knows which assignments they are expected to complete every week. This can be accomplished by posting their pace chart in the classroom and printing a pace chart for them to use as a weekly checklist. You can also post weekly assignments on the whiteboard on Mondays to keep them focused. Now that you have heard some of the best practices for pacing your students, you will want to view our training entitled Tracking. The tracking session will give you awesome tips on how to make sure students are actually following the pace. This and other training sessions can be found at our YouTube channel. Titles include Getting Your Lab Started, Best Practices for Tracking, Motivate and Celebrate, and How to Join the Blended Learning Community. For more information, contact the Blended Learning Specialist team at blc@flvs.net. Wishing you and your lab students great success and many, many happy completions.